Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I'm a yarn addict, hence the name Juan the Yarn Addict, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for stopping by to check out my video today. This is a yarn and crochet channel where we talk about all things yarn and all things crochet. So if that interests you, please sit back and watch this video because today, my friends, we're going to continue caking up some vintage yarns. So what you see before you are a bunch of vintage yarns that I have here in my stash, and I need to cake them up because I am actually working these up into a project that I have in the other room. Also too, there are patterns and things on these ball bands that I want to hold on to and put into my recipe binder, which is where I keep all of my patterns. So these are the yarns that I want to cake up today in this session. If we get through this, then we'll continue on with more, but I don't think we'll get through all of this. So I have a lot of very vintage yarns here. So this one in particular is hand knitting yarn. That's kind of what it says. It's manufacturer's mill ends. At the time it was 50 cents. Super nice. I don't know how old this is. It doesn't really have a date or anything like that, but it's got the certified stamp made in USA. So yeah, anyway, so let's go ahead and move some of this off of the table. I think what I want to work up is a toss up between these three right here. We'll start there, okay, and then we'll hop onto these other ones. But for now, actually this is nice too. This is Super Saver Pulling. The colorway here is called Papaya Pulling. I don't think this is vintage, if I'm being honest. I don't think this is vintage. This is vintage. I know this for sure. This is Kaleidoscope. Yeah, let's start with this one. Okay, Kaleidoscope. So I am using my Knit Picks ball winder. It's $23.99 on Amazon, and I will have this linked into the show notes and all of that. So this here, I mentioned this before, this looks like Mexicana, but it's not, because the color breaks are very close, as you can see here. It's super nice. Anyway, this here is a medium 4-weight yarn. This is 6 ounces at 170 grams. And I'm trying to see here if there is yardage, and there is not. So there is that. Kaleidoscope. And so, as I mentioned before, when I cake up my yarns and things, I like to do a slip knot, just because it's easier for me to work. Like when I pull the cake, I actually just put my hook right into that and start right away. So I just slip it in through the top there, and then I do that, and we are good to go. Okay, so let me just pull some of this out to get started, and let's go to town. So I really enjoy caking up all of my yarns, not just the vintage yarns. I cake up as much as I possibly can. Mostly yarns that I plan on using. If I don't have intentions on using it right away, I'm not caking anything up. But I am using this yarn, so I do need to cake it up. So there's that. Okay. So now we're in a good place. I've pulled enough out of the center so that we have a good flow situation going here. And so what I like to do is apply a little bit of tension on the actual yarn so that we have a nice tight wind here. And I could fit more onto the cake with a little more tension. You know, it's nice and thick. So my intention with this is to get all of this yarn onto this cake. I think we can do it. And how many ounces was this again? Did I say ounces? 6 ounces. Okay, I think it'll work. We should be able to get all of this onto here. We shall see. But yeah, so I have 2 skeins of this kaleidoscope that I have over here. Oops, let's just go ahead and fix that. Okay. Whoops. Okay. And I kind of lean on the table to kind of hold it down. This is a TV dinner tray table situation. I like using it because it's portable. I can put it anywhere, put the ball winder on the side, and just go to town. This ball winder here is used all over the house. I don't think there is a room in the house that I haven't used it in. I've attached it to the dining room table. I've attached it to this table here, the one behind me that's got the trays on it. I mean, yeah, everywhere. And the cake is actually turning out very nice. I mean, it does do a great job. I'm very happy with it. And I'm actually happy with the ball winder because it holds more yarn than it's supposed to. So I like that for us. The cakes actually turn out to be quite large. I think I've gotten more than 10 ounces on here. Yeah, for sure. My Premier puzzle, I got almost an entire skein on there, which is not bad. I think if I applied a little more tension than I did, I could have gotten the entire skein of Premier Puzzle on here. And I like to go as far as I possibly can. I keep going until this here starts becoming an issue, which clearly I think we're going to be in a really good place with this skein. I'm kind of happy with how this is turning out, which is nice. So if this is the first time that you're seeing me cake up vintage yarns, I do have other ones on my channel. I'm working a project up using vintage variegated yarns. I'm showcasing all of the yarns from our past. And yeah, so to prepare for what it is that I'm working on, I'm caking everything up, and then I'm going to take all the cakes to the dining room table and I'm going to organize it light to dark, you know, the kind of variegated yarn that we're looking at. That's kind of how I'm going. I'm going to see what that looks like, and then I'm going to play around with the format of how everything is laid out, just to get an idea of what I'm working with. And then based on what I see, I will then go ahead and formulate a plan with what to do next. I didn't want to go ahead and jump into a project without seeing all of what I have available. So yeah. Okay, I think we're almost at the end here, obviously. And since this is a yarn that has sat for such a long time, the outer layer of the yarn is like, I don't want to say glued together, but it's kind of sort of stuck, if that makes any sense. But we are approaching the end, so I'm just going to give it a good shake to separate all of the strands. Hopefully I'm not creating a knot by doing that, but if I am, oh well. We'll figure it out. Okay. I really enjoy this yarn. I really like it. Just because when you work it up, it actually looks like each stitch is its own color. That's how close these colors are, depending on the stitch you're using, of course. With some stitches, it actually has multiple colors, which is nice. So this is one of the colorways I really wish they would bring back. It's so nice. I mean, Mexicana is nice too, but I think this is special. It's so nice. Okay. So when I tie off my cakes, I just wrap around once and then I just do a little slip tie there. Just like that. And then I just pop the slip knot off there. And there we have it. Cake 1 complete. Okay, so there's that. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this one here needs a little TLC. What happened was, this was part of a project that got yanked, I'm assuming, and then it just got wound like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attach the beginning parts of this to the ball winder. I know my head's cut off, but that's okay. I'm going to create a slip knot here, just like this. We're going to go on here, thread that through just like that, and very gently start our situation here. Okay. This feels like Red Heart with Love. Yeah, it's nice and thick. So this is definitely Red Heart with Love. I don't know the name of the colorway. It reminds me of newsprint. So this is going to have to be a thing until I can get this outer shell of a situation off, which is fine. I'm actually thinking that this would look nice in a project on its own with Red Heart with Love, like a solid black, a solid gray, and a solid white. I'm not sure if I'm going to include this into my project because although this is a 4-weight yarn, it's a thicker 4-weight yarn, and it's not the same as like this, you know. Nonetheless, it's still nice. I mean, I do enjoy it. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay. So I'm going to have to piece this together. We're almost through what this is supposed to be like. I mean, it wasn't really raveled in any particular way other than like this. Let's see here. Are we almost there? We're almost there, I think. Are we almost there? You know, oh my stars. Look at this. Can you believe this? I can't believe this. Okay. Oh my stars. Juan. Okay. So I'm just going to hold all of this down here. Listen, we have to figure this out as we go. Okay. Wow. Why did I not check that? Okay, so slip knot. Put it on there. Thread it through. Nice and slow to get started. And let's pull some of the inside out there. We'll get it one way or another. It'll look 100 times better than this, for sure. Okay. There we go. Okay, we're in business now, finally. So this definitely reminds me of newsprint, but thicker, which is nice. I do like that. But with variegated yarn that's black, white, and gray, I mean, the only other option that I could think of is doing like a solid red. A solid red would look really good with this. Maybe, I mean, you could pick any solid color if I'm being honest. But to really make it look good, I would say a solid red or follow suit with the colorways that are available here. What you see here is kind of what you should go with. I mean, black, white, and gray, you can literally throw any color at it, and it'll work. So, I don't know the specs on this in terms of like how many ounces, how many yards or meters. This particular skein came to us exactly like this. So, that's kind of what we have to work with, which is fine for us. We'll make it work. But as I mentioned, I don't think this particular yarn is going to be worked up with the rest of what I have, just because it is a thicker 4-weight yarn. But I do have other vintage variegated Red Heart with Love, so maybe I could pair or group those together and do like a separate make with just those. That would definitely be interesting. I'd be curious to see what that looked like worked up, being as though it's like a thicker 4. I don't know. I'm curious. I do feel like the ounces aren't as much as some of the other ones. It looks like it's a lot, but not really. Let me put this over here. There we go. Just got to give it more space. At first glance, I thought it was mainstays, but no. Once I felt this, I knew for sure that this was Red Heart. Yeah, you just know. The feel of it, all of the things. So I'm thinking a lot of things with this yarn. The handle just slipped. It made a big noise. So, wow. Okay, so we're approaching the end, obviously. And this was the trouble spot, of course, we saw from the beginning, it is what it is. But look at that cake. It's so nice. It's giving me like Argyle vibes, but it's not really. I mean, I don't know. Argyle, pulling, I don't know. It's giving me something. It's not giving me nothing. It's definitely giving me something. Yeah, Argyle, pulling, that kind of situation. And this table is very wobbly, and that is okay. I don't mind it at all, because I've used this table for a long time doing just this. So it's had its fair share of wear and tear. Okay, Juan. What's happening? Okay, are we good? Yes, I think so. I think we're good. We just have to pay attention to the tension. If you let it go while you have tension on it, it's not good, because it'll unravel like it just did. And then you're left straightening up a mess. Okay. It's always the end with these vintage yarns. It is what it is. I guess it comes with the territory. It could be worse. It could be an entire pile of yarn barf. So I guess I have to be grateful for what it is, you know? It could be worse. But someone asked me the other day, Juan, why are you so fascinated with vintage yarns? You know why? It's nostalgia. Is it nostalgia? Nostalgia? I can't remember how that's pronounced, but it's just remembering the yarns of yesteryear. Because some of these yarns, I mean, I do remember some of these yarns, you know, and then of course there are yarns that I don't remember, but I know my viewers, you know, it may bring back memories of yarns that they used back in the day, you know, and I just find it fascinating. I think it's so awesome to see yarns that like we used to have. It used to be the regular thing. And now like it's a thing of the past, you know, and to just highlight that, it just brings back memories. So that's why I love the vintage yarns. For the memories, for the sentimental value of it all. And then, you know, that's why I'm like highlighting projects with vintage yarns, because why not? It's so awesome. Look at this. Look at that. Oof. It's okay. We're going to make this work. It's going to be a thing. I actually thought about doing this skein in the first session that I did of caking up vintage yarns, but something told me that this would be a moment. Like, it wasn't going to be one of those skeins that worked up very quickly. It was going to be something you had to take your time with, work through. But I'm glad that this is happening, because I think out of all of the vintage yarns that I have left, this was the one that needed the most TLC. So If this is the one that needed the most TLC, then I think we're in a really good place. So I'm very happy with this overall, you know? So hopefully you guys are like working on whips and things, glancing up every now and then, or maybe you're just intently watching, you know, curious about all the things that involve vintage yarns. I mean, you know, there was a little bit of concern with like the acrylics, you know, like, is it safe to ball up acrylic from a long time ago and all that? And to be perfectly honest with you, I think it's perfectly fine. I mean, yeah, I'm okay with it. I've been doing it for a long time now, and nothing's happened to me, so we're good. There we go. Okay, we worked through that very quickly. And now I have the other end that we had from the beginning. And that is it. Okay, so let me just go ahead and do a wind like this. Just like that. Let me wind it around like this. So I'm just winding it around like that, tightening it up, putting it back in there. It's a nice little tuck, okay? And then I just slip this off the top. And then we're just gonna go ahead and take it off. So good. Let me just fix this, make it look nice. You know, the visual effect of everything. Okay, good stuff. So far we have 2. Let me sit this. You know what, now that I think about it, wouldn't these look nice together? Like a black and a white in all the colors? I think that would look amazing. Okay. All right, so next let's do Leeward's Sail Ombre. This is called Blueberry Ombre. And let's see, any specs on this? Let's see, let's look for the specs. It has 3 ounces, 85 grams, approximately 200 yards. So obviously we can get the whole cake on here. No big deal. So let's do our little slip knot situation. Blueberry Ombre. And it does fade nicely. Look at that. There's no hard break. Good stuff. Thread that through. Let's do a very slow wind. Okay, just pull some of that out of there. Make it nice and loose. Okay, let's do it. Nice and slow so we don't create a knot. Okay, let me just adjust the table. Okay. Okay, so Blueberry Ombre, I don't know how old this skein is. I do know that it has no UPC code on it, like the barcode. So it's before then. I want to date this back to like the 70s. You know, just based on like my experience with vintage yarns and patterns and things, I can look at a ball band and place it within the decade. When it comes to the books, I can place it within 5 or so years. But when it comes to these, the decade for sure. So this is giving me like 70s, late 60s, early to mid 70s. Yep. Really? You have to squeak. I did WD-40 on this. Apparently it wasn't necessary because it's still doing what it wants to do anyway. It's got a mind of its own like me. Mind of its own. I'm actually going to have extra yarn left over from the project. I didn't realize I had as much as I do. So what I'm probably going to do is either make up another project using vintage variegated yarns, or I may do a mashup and do like a vintage scrap situation. Maybe make vintage scrap cakes. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. Once, you know, my whole plan is done with my project, and this is going to be something I'm going to hold on to for myself. I've always wanted to have a blanket featuring vintage variegated yarns. I've always wanted one. And so, yeah, once that's done, I'm fair game for whatever. So, I may even donate the cakes to the seniors with the solids. I've been donating the solid yarns to the seniors, and well received, you know. Unless the skein looks brand new, I cake up everything and send it over, you know. So they're just grateful that they have yarn, you know. They're just so happy. They're like, yay, we have yarn. I'm like, yes, you do. You have yarn. A lot of it is light colors, which is nice because I didn't know this, but a lot of the seniors have issues seeing darker yarns, which I guess now kind of makes sense. So a lot of the yarns that I have sent over so far are like various shades of white and cream with like yellows and peaches and mint. So right in their wheelhouse. Love that for them. You know, I tried taking time out of my schedule to sit with them this week. I just could not. I have so much on the hook. And then, of course, with work and everything, I didn't have time to commit, you know, to sitting there. But I did tell the nurses, I said, you know, I do plan on coming back because I'm off on Monday. So I'll stop by on Monday and hang out with them for a while, which is super nice because they always look forward to having company. I didn't realize this, but like a lot of the seniors that are in those senior homes, they don't get any company. You know, it breaks my heart to know that because, you know, for some of them, when I go there, I'm the only person they see. You know, and it makes me want to go there even more, but, you know, I have responsibilities here too, you know. So I wish I had a clone and my clone could sit in there with them all day. Because it's always good to have company, you know, even if it's a perfect stranger, a yarny friend, you know. I wish I could do that for them, but life, responsibilities, adulting, you know. And then I wonder, like, you know, you can't really assume because what if, you know, they have no one? And then on the flip side, what if they have all the people and they just choose to not go and visit? I mean, that breaks my heart too. Like, I mean, you know, we're only one person here, so I can't save the world. But what I can do is make every day the best I can possibly make it. So even if it's just to hang out with them for 30 minutes to an hour, you know, that's what matters, I feel. So, yeah, I may give them this vintage variegated yarn as long as it's not dark. I don't think they really care for the dark vintage variegated. I think this is probably the darkest I'd send over there. I know for sure, not this and not this. Well, maybe this. I don't know. I do this all the time. I'm like, well, maybe, yes, no, maybe. I can never make up my mind. Okay, so this one is done. And so I'm just going to do what I said earlier. We're going to do the wrap. So wrap it around just like that. And then we're going to come back up to here. Let's pull it nice and tight. Let's wrap this around. It's hard to do it backwards, but. And then just pull nice and tight like that. Pull this off the top and pull this. Where's the toy? Here it is. There's no recipe on this, so I'm just going to fold it like this. And just do one of them. Okay. All right. let's do this one. So this one here is red and white. There's no name. There's no colorway name. So red and white it will be for us for today. Can I get an end out of here? Let's see. I don't want to fuss with it and get yarn barf. You know what I mean? Not too bad. It's giving me candy cane vibes, or like, are they called peppermints? You know, from the candy dish, peppermints. I don't know what I'm thinking half the time. Okay, so let's just do that. Okay, let's go ahead and do that and thread this through nice and slow. Okay. This feels like 3-weight yarn. Is it a 4-weight yarn? Does it even say that? It doesn't say anything like that. What it does say though is it's 3 ounces at 85 grams. It says that. It gives washing instructions, but it doesn't say if it's like worsted. It doesn't say anything like that. So, here we go. That should do it. Let's see. Okay. The center's still a little tight, but we'll make it work. And you know what I noticed? In between the white and the red, there's like this orange. I don't know if that was intentional. Can you see that? Let me see if I can. It doesn't happen, like, there's really no hard break. Maybe it's just supposed to be that way. I don't know. I like it. It's nice. It's different, for sure. I will tell you that the stand wood doesn't squeak. This one does, depending on what yarn I use. I don't know. I've used this for hundreds of cakes. Hundreds. And yeah, I still use it. I love it. It's my little squirrel one. You know, little squeaks and peeps and all the things. I don't mind it. It's whatever. I still enjoy it very much. I don't know if I want to use this for... Yeah, I'm going to use it for the project, the Vintage Variegated project. I haven't really given it like an official name, but yeah, the Vintage Variegated project is all I have for it right now. And I thought about doing hexagons and things like that, but my mom talked me into looking for a vintage pattern to use that I could highlight as many yarns as possible. Is it going to make sense color-wise? Probably not, but the point of it is to just celebrate the colors of all the vintage yarns. So that's kind of what I'm going with, you know? The more different that it is, the better it'll be for me. I can't really focus on the overall look of it if I'm trying to be as eclectic as possible and throw all the different kinds of yarns together. There's just so many different kinds of yarns, like color-wise, that I'd have to make 100 different projects to highlight all of these different things. So, you know, the chaos is intentional. So, and if I can't find a project, like a vintage project to work up, I'm sure I can. But if I can't, I will just put my thinking cap on and create something on a whim. Obviously not for any kind of like tutorial or anything. I just want to do this for fun for myself, you know? Yeah. Really? You're going to squeak and squirrel? All right, so we're pushing the end and see how it's all like stuck together like that. It's to be expected, as I mentioned, just because of how old the yarn is. And I would assume the older the yarn is, the more that this actually would happen. I only had like one other skein where it was multiple layers like this. It was really old. But I'm okay with it. I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm trying to think, do we want to do Kaleidoscope again? I have another skein of Kaleidoscope. I also have another skein of Sayel Peaches. It's like peach and like banana. Let's get through this one first. And we'll see what the options are. Because, you know, we're only like 35 minutes in, which is fine. But I want to try and be as eclectic as possible and choose like different kinds each time, you know? So let's go ahead and spin this. There we go. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and twist this and turn it in there, like so, like that. Okay. It's a lot easier when I do it on my side, but when I do it on that side, it's to kind of show you what I'm doing. All right, so let's just, where's the paper? Here it is. So we're gonna fold this and fold it like that. Put it on the top and slide it in. There we go. Okay, there's that. All right, so I was thinking maybe we can do Kaleidoscope. Again, finally give this ball band a resting place. We have some honey spun, which is like, it's like a powder vintage variegated. It's like a powder pastel, baby colors. And then I have another one, but the colors are a little more pronounced. But this is Caron Carefree Ombre. What else here? We have some honey spun and country peach, which is nice. What else here? This was the peach banana that I was telling you about. This is Sayel. I know that because the paper actually ripped to the point where I couldn't save it. So here's some more honey spun ombre. This is clearly a 3-weight yarn. This has got to be 3-weight. What does it say? 4-ply. Okay, well, see that? Interesting. But then I also have some of this. So we may work some of this up, but I'm really feeling the colors right now. Let's do this one. So yeah, let's do this one really quick. This is going to be a quick spin situation. It's only 3 ounces. Country peach. We'll do country peach. And if time permits, we'll do Kaleidoscope. Just so that the kaleidoscopes are together, you know? All right, let's go ahead and get the yarn barf out. Okay, we're good. There we go. Slip knot, just like that. Put it on the top. Do this. All right, all right, all right. Okay. All right, and we are off to the horse race. Now, see, I've never had the pleasure of working with honey spun. I don't want to say it was before my time. I think it was right around, you know, I want to say 80s. This is definitely 80s yarn. 1980s. Maybe early 90s. Yeah, late 80s, early 90s, because we have a barcode on here. So it's not as old as some of the other yarns I have. Maybe early 90s. Back when Vanna White was really into the yarn and she was like the face of a lot of different types of things in the yarn thing, in the yarn situation. Vanna White's been a name in the yarn world for quite a while. I've seen her in yarn books in the early 90s. So this whole country peach colorway reminds me of like the early 90s. So yeah, 100% Orlon acrylic, 3-weight, 4-ply. It's thin. It's a thinner 4-weight yarn. It's not like robust as some of like our 4-weights. It's definitely not. It's definitely not like our loops and thread yarn. It's thinner than that. And with some of these skeins, just the outer, situation, it's almost like I can't wait to work it up so that I can throw it in the washer. Of course, I could go through all the steps to hank it up, throw it in the washer with the garment bag and all the things, but I just want to work it up so I can get it washed, I'd be excited to see the difference between before the wash and after the wash. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, I'm not going to put the, actually yes, I'm going to put this with this, but it's got a pattern on here. It's called a V-stitch Afghan on the back of the label. And on the front of the label, it tells you how many skeins you need to make that. So that's definitely a lot of fun to see, because nowadays everything is virtual, it's online. So you really don't see that anymore with like printed patterns on the actual skeins. I mean, yeah, you do every now and then, but nowadays they're really pushing the online. Like, go online for the pattern. You can print it out from the website. So yeah. Okay, let me pull this off. Doop, 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 doop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We might be able to, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely want to get that kaleidoscope done. The faster I get all of the vintage variegated yarns spun up, I can go ahead and move on to the other vintage yarns that I have, which are a lot of the solids that I can't really send over to the senior centers because they need some TLC. We can work through all of those, all the different colorways and all the things. But I needed to do the vintage variegated first because of, like I mentioned, the project that I have going on. So yeah. And I've been getting yarns from friends of the channel as well as from eBay. I've been bidding on vintage variegated yarn. Some of the yarns I come across, I don't even bid. I just buy now. Just save me the waiting. I just rather know that I'm getting it right away versus, okay, well, how many days until this auction is over before I can find out if I actually have it or not, All right, so there's that. And then I think the final one for this video is going to be another skein of kaleidoscope. I just want to get this done because it's the last skein of kaleidoscope that I have. Okay. I have a whole bunch of vintage variegated yarn in another bin. So by no means or stretch of the imagination are we finished. We're almost done this bin though. I think I have about 7 or 8 more skeins left. So yeah. Okay. I really love this yarn. I love it so much. Listen, if it was available in the store, I'd probably clear the shelf every time. That's how much I love it. Now, the Mexicana yarn, I kind of did that with my Mexicana yarn from Walmart. So I took one of those Afghan bags, or no, the comforter bags, the zip around situation. I have one of those filled with Mexicana yarn. I just love it so much. Now, I haven't had the opportunity to work it all up into something yet, but I have enough to do whatever I want to do with it, which is great. I'm always afraid that they're going to discontinue it and then it'll be too late. So I have it for myself for now. So I'm good. I'm not buying any more Mexicana yarn, I promise. But this kaleidoscope, man, it's great. A friend of the channel sent me one or two, and then one of my moderators sent it to me. And I was so grateful for that. Thank you, Becky. So, yeah, I spoke about how much I really love this in comparison to the Mexicana yarn, because I really like the idea of each stitch being its own color. Yeah, half double crochet or single crochet, you'll get individual colors for each stitch in a row. It's so cool. Whereas with the Mexicana, you'll have stretches of stitches before the color changes. I mean, which is nice too. You'll see that gradual change from color to color. I like that as well. So I love both of them equally, but I am impartial to this kaleidoscope because it is an older yarn, and I really do appreciate the older yarns. So yeah. Now I will tell you, these lighter variegated yarns, I'm probably not going to keep any of that, just because it's not really my vibe. Like, I mean, it's so light. This is great yarn for the seniors, actually. This one, and this one for sure. Yep, I want to say 99% sure this is going to go to the seniors, all of this. And then also this. I mean, I love a light color. I mean, I have a lot of it behind me, but yeah, I think these would have a better home with the seniors. So I'm going to cake these up for them, put them, you know, in its own little baggie, and then give it to them like that. I think they're going to love it. So, yeah, I wish I could do more for the seniors. I know I keep talking a lot about the seniors, but because I do take care of my mom, I see a lot of like what she goes through, and I could just imagine what they go through being in a senior center or a senior home, you know. I just wish there was more that I can do, but my schedule is jam-packed between the channel, the job, my mother, this house. You know, there's a lot that goes on to run everything. So I'm just thankful I'm able to spend some time with them. I just wish I could spend more time with them. You know, but I do what I can. So, die lot. I wonder if that's the year, 11 of 1993. I don't know. I'm curious. I like, you know what? I really like how we can fit an entire skein onto this. I know I mentioned that before, but like, I just realized that a lot of the skeins from back in the day are all different sizes, whereas today you have a lot of 3 ounces, you have like 7 ounces, and then you have pounders. I guess you have variations today, but it just blows me away. 3 ounces, 5 ounces, 6 ounces. I mean, there's just so many different sizes with the same company, like Red Heart. They have so many different sizes from back then. Just fascinated. I mean, those of you guys watching me, you're probably like, yeah, Juan, we knew that. We knew all about that. You know, that's just how it was. Whereas me, you know, I appreciate it, and I'm just like, wow. You know, anyway. We're almost done this skein, my friends, and then we'll wrap up this whole session. But if this is something that you enjoy watching, I have other ones that are on the channel as well. Feel free to check those out. And if you like them and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you. I do tons of different things. You know, I cake up yarn. What else do I do here? I do whip it with wands, whipping it with Juan. You know, I pull out a whip, I work on it, I babble away for about an hour. Love that for us. And then I go live every Sunday at 6 p.m. with my mother. I do a midweek pop-up no specific day. It's just whenever I have an opportunity to do so, I just come on. I try to give a little bit of an announcement, like 30 minutes to an hour before. But if I'm able to do it, I'll hop on, you know. What else do I do? Earlier in my YouTube journey, I did yarn reviews where I would do reps per inch. I would talk about the different kinds of yarns and things. I think I want to get back into doing some of that because I really like talking about the yarn and the differences between this yarn versus that yarn and why I like this yarn better than this. I'm going to get back into doing that. I do have tutorials on my channel. I'm going to get back into that. What else? I just like variety. I don't like to do the same thing every time. So, yeah, I'll think up of something different and I'll be like, let me try that, you know? So, anyway, yeah, so, again, if you like this, give me a like. The thummies are free. And then, of course, if you like my content and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And if you're not sure, check the other videos out and see if that's something that you like. I'd love to have you. And what else? The notifications, you know, turn those on so you can know when I'm going live. I do replay giveaways. I used to do the giveaways during the lives. I don't do that anymore. So we're doing replay giveaways so that we can enjoy the live for what it is. So anyway, my friends, let me just get this off. We're going to put everything that we caked up on this session next to each other, like so, like that. Wow, we got a lot of work done today, my friends. We did 6 cakes. Look at that. So, my friends, that is it for this session. I said all the things earlier, so I'm not going to bore you to tears by repeating it. So, again, that is it. And until the next one, guys, take care. Bye-bye.